What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Market Watch, where we'll be discussing inflation, the upcoming Fed rate hikes, Q4 earnings, and so much more. I'm Erik T. Jackson. He's Eddie Chinea.
So,
Let's get started.
oh yeah,
What's up, player?
good man,
How are you doing?
good man. So you say on a 4 game win streak, 6 game win streak?
Yeah, man. We doing that. We are hitting our stride, man, and they've all been double digits.
That's
So,
good.
you know, yeah, the players are playing well, and we're excited, man. Uh, what's going on in your neck of the woods, brother?
My camera keeps turning off, man. Let me see something. There we go. All right, now I'm on. Everything's good, man. Watching earnings season, the economic calendars, and things coming out, and what's going to happen with inflation. What's my man Jerome going to do when he starts speaking again? How's it going to affect the market? But everything's been good,
Okay,
man.
okay. So, speaking of your man Jerome,
My man Powell.
yeah, it's uh, when are the next rate hikes, and is it going to be a hike or is it going to stay the same? Or
I,
what?
I mean, personally, I think that there's going to be another hike. I don't see them not doing it.
Mhm.
But as far as I know, uh, markets, right now, just based on what I've read and everything, that there's according to Seeking Alpha, 95.2% probability for at least another 25-point basis hike, and it's January 31st, February 1st meeting. So
Mm. Yeah,
but they're talking about some of this stuff might already be kind of priced in, right? Pricing in a small chance that they won't hike going into March.
yeah.
But I think that with the way they keep talking about, there's still work to do. That I think we've got some hikes still on the horizon.
Okay. So, um,
But it's
I
still battling inflation, man. Inflation is still they say running rampant, but some things are starting to cool off. According to some articles and some of the numbers that are coming out. So I think what they're hoping for is with my man Powell going through and saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, we might another 25-point basis hike, and then we may not hike as much going forward. You know what I mean?
uh-huh.
I don't think they're gonna be cutting rates anytime soon. Like I don't think in 2023 they're gonna be cutting the rate,
Yeah,
and start bringing it back. But I think they will start kind of reducing down the rate hikes, man. Maybe tapering off.
yeah. Okay. I mean, and that's a good thing.
For
Am I
sure.
okay?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
if they start cutting back on the rate again, that means they're not charging banks more to borrow money,
Hmm.
which ultimately, banks can offer lower rates to people, so they want be able to borrow money, right?
Yeah,
So when the rate comes down, right, it means better, ideally in a simplistic form, means better rates. They start cutting rates at the Fed, better rates for us, right? Mortgages, car, payments, car loan, auto loans, things of that sort. So it
yeah.
gets cheaper to borrow money, right? So they start pumping money back into the economy,
Right.
start hiking those rates, and start tightening up, the money supply. So yeah,
Okay.
no, for sure. If they start cutting rates, man, that'd be great.
Yeah, for everybody. Right. So, I came across an article on Yahoo Finance Twitter, and they talked about even in these times of inflation, there are still certain things that will be cheaper in 2023, and a few of those things. They said housing prices uh, will be cheaper in 2023.
Well, I
Even
think there was bound to be I don't know why my camera keeps shutting off, man. My bad. I mean, there had to have been some kind of reprieve given, man, because I mean, right there in the summer, everything housing prices were, I mean, astronomical.
yeah,
It was getting
yeah,
crazy. How
yeah,
much people were buying and selling houses for. So I think a tapered growth there also. You know what I mean? And appreciation. Look, I'm a homeowner, so I want my house to continue to appreciate. Right?
already.
But it
Yeah,
doesn't need to be appreciating at 7, 8, 9% a year. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
a lot of price in the market, nobody can afford to buy it, and now nobody, now you can't sell your home. You know what I mean? So there needs
right.
to.
They also said new and used cars will probably be cheaper. Electronic appliances, basically anything that uses semiconductors.
Yeah.
I take it that the semiconductor shortage is now sort of waning down, and they're having more of a demand for that. And so with
Well,
that,
I think with China opening back up, You know what
Uh-huh.
I mean? That was huge, man. That opens up supply chain, and once they get ramped back up, I guess to full 100% productivity, whatever they were at, prior to the pandemic. That yeah, now it's a lot easier, right? You can produce more, and if you can produce more, now you can ship more to people. So now car dealers are able to get them, and appliance makers are able to get these semiconductors, and on as short a supply.
Right, right. And that's what I was that's what I took from it, you know. Uh so uh in 2023, uh what else can we maybe look at that may be cheaper other than things that are using semiconductors?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, well, like I said, electronics, appliances, right? We're talking. I think that things like rent prices also, and I know we spoke about, just mortgage rates, you know what I mean, hopefully coming down. But I
mhm,
think rent prices start decreasing also.
right,
That
right.
place where I guess a place where things get a little cheaper. And
Yeah.
one that kind of caught my attention, man, too, is you think about this, hotel rooms, right? More
Already, yeah.
get out there and start to travel again, man, and starting to, inflation prices start coming down. So in order to get people, they don't want
Yeah.
vacancy at those hotels, right?
Right, right.
Vacancy, right? You got to read. I mean, kind of reduce your costs. And what I'm really hoping for is airline tickets, man. I love to travel, dude. It's
Yeah.
so expensive to fly anywhere right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hotel rooms, I think, and lodging, things like that are going to be uh might have a chance to come down as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that, man. Good. Uh so Q4, man, that is uh coming up. So what can we look for in quarter 4 earnings?
So Q4 Earnings, man, a lot of those things, they started to kick off this past week. The banks starting to report. I think they started reporting on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the airlines started also. So like the airline industry on Friday, man, kind of had a nice little bump up with Delta Airlines, their earnings. I think American also was one that they reported earnings that saw, that they beat earnings, right? So the
Yeah.
revenue top, whatever the estimates were, and the banks are now starting to same thing, report. So what they were hoping for, I think, is, I think what people are bracing for, not that hoping for, I think people are bracing for earnings to come in and be and not be as maybe be below estimates.
Yeah.
Only the simple fact that with inflation going to the end of the year and things getting more expensive, that people going through and looking at their the income statements, the financial statements, that earnings might miss, which would be a good thing, right? Because obviously when earnings miss, that means they're not doing well, so it's not good for the businesses. But with them not doing as well, right, prices start to come down a little bit, even in the market, right? So you're able to scoop up some, try to find some value out there.
Yeah. 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 So uh let's
I'll go through a couple of them, man. So here's some of the ones that had earnings beats, right? So United Health,
yeah.
BlackRock, Delta Airlines, um, Bank of New York Mellon. It's another one. Wells Fargo. Right. So those are some that have reported so far that have beat, and then you've had some that didn't beat, right? So Citigroup, missed revenue by like 4 cents.
Okay.
I mean, it's a miss, and it's crazy how sometimes oh, they were off by 4 cents. Well, it's not necessarily just 4 cents. It's a much bigger deal when you're talking about these companies that are worth billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested to know about BlackRock and how how much. So do we know if the stock spiked or not based on what they reported?
BlackRock.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it's BK. BlackRock. BR. BlackRock. Yeah, okay, there it is, though. So no, that's BlackRock Incorporated. What am I looking at here, man? My bad.
No, that's good.
There was definitely one a spike in like American Airlines and things like that. Let me pull
Okay.
up BlackRock. Yeah, there it is, BlackRock. Yeah, it is B okay. I'm talking about, man. So was there? Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was a bump, earnings now. When they report earnings, sometimes it's after the bell, right?
Yeah.
So you may not see as much more. It might happen,
Overnight.
yeah, overnight, right, or during after market hours.
Yeah.
But as far as their earnings were concerned, man, they reported $8.93 as opposed to the 8.13 that banks were, or that Wall Street was estimating.
Yeah.
I mean, don't know what it opened up at. I know that it finished in the green, up 3 cents. I think overall is what it was up.
Okay.
So it opened up at 746 and it closed at 753. I say 3 cents, man. I'm lying to you. You're talking like, well, I guess from the previous close, it kind of got back to where it was at the previous close because it dropped the day before. You know what I mean? But a
Yeah,
746 that it opens at, and closes. I mean, you're talking about almost up another 1%, give or take, a little less
yeah.
than 1% that it was up.
So
So
that's one stock. So I wonder, has BlackRock has it split at all? Because I mean it's going up and up and up, and that's one stock that I really like. But
I hadn't seen. I don't see any splits with BlackRock, man.
yeah, yeah, they don't
Because
believe it. They
yeah,
don't
it's
believe in
getting
splitting.
expensive. It's getting expensive. But I mean, when you think about BlackRock, man, and looking at some of their holdings,
Yeah,
yeah, I think we spoke about it, not too long ago on one of the shows, man. That you look at how, who really owns some of these companies, who's really making the uh the stock prices move, man. And you talk about somebody like BlackRock that owns, you know, 125 million shares of Facebook and things like that. They're the ones that are making things, rocking the market.
yeah, absolutely.
So, but I read an interesting article today, man, and it's probably counterintuitive to what I do, I mean, as far as my business, that talked about, not using some of these, actively managed funds, start doing some ETF stuff, what I mean,
Yeah,
things that people can do on their own. And a lot of the stuff in that article I agreed with. Some of it I didn't, because there's some people that don't know and don't even care to get educated on it. That's why they pay a professional.
right.
Where that's where I come into play. But a lot of the stuff in there was good, man. So you talk about actively managed funds and looking at like BlackRock. If you're invested in BlackRock and some kind of active fund, I
Yeah,
mean, they've got over 1 billion shares of Apple that they own. You
over
know
a
what I mean?
billion shares of Apple.
Right.
Wow.
1 billion shares of Apple. You start talking about something like that, man.
Yeah,
That's a lot of, if they decided to dump off, hey, we're going to trim our position and say, oh, we're going to trim, 100 million shares. That's going to make, that's going to make that market move. It's
yeah,
going to have an effect on
exactly.
it, stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's, yeah, I mean, and 1 billion shares of Apple, 171 million shares of Tesla, right? Amazon, 582 million shares of, so these are the ones that are really making that stuff move.
yeah,
But well, I mean, again, BlackRock, I mean, been around forever. They've you know, while it is very expensive, what I mean, to I guess expensive is relative, but $754 a share is not something that anybody could just go in and say, oh, I'm gonna go and buy, 100 shares. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah,
Everybody has
yeah,
$75,000. So, but while it is expensive, I mean, it has, performance kind of consolidated in price a little bit. But with beating earnings, man, that's always a good sign.
oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at some of these articles, man, and one of them just came across. I guess it's maybe London. I don't know. Rate rises could add $8.6 trillion to global borrowing costs
Wow,
for the S&P. You
wow,
know, yeah, yeah.
wow.
So that's how important that the increases and decreases of the interest rate is.
It just affects everything. Like I said, if it's costing them, they're charging more to loan that money out. Again,
Yeah,
you think this is a difference like from the 80s until now, right? In the 80s when interest rates were, 18, 20% on a mortgage versus now somewhere where I'm at, 2.625 or something like that. That is
yes,
sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars of interest that, what I mean, that you're
yep,
paying. So when rates go up, and like I said, it rocks markets. It rocks, what I mean, what goes
yeah.
on, how much spending, and what I mean, the country as a whole. You know what I mean? It has an effect.
Well, I guess banks love it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with the problem with that is, then they're not able to lend as much because not as many people are borrowing, right? Because the rates go up.
Absolutely,
Is
yeah,
the thought process behind it. But again, the ones that do decide to borrow from you, yeah, loving the fact that your mortgage is at 6%, and they've got a handful of clients, or half their clients are below 5%, right? So anybody that's above that 5% is great. I mean, they're making more money.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly, man. Do you know anything about this Archegos prosecution? I don't know if you do, but it looked interesting.
Archegos,
Yeah.
that sounds familiar. I haven't seen anything about it.
Okay. U.S. rejects Bill Wang's sandbagging claim, in Archegos prosecution. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Uh, JP
Mark
Morgan.
Akers. Oh, that was at they charged, well, back in April, they charged that dude Sung Cook or whatever that was part of it, right? Founder. Are you talking about the private investment firm?
Yeah,
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
yeah, yeah. I know. I mean, it's always with financial institutions, man, and dealing with so much money, it's hard not to have a crook somewhere, bro.
Man, look, let me tell you, and that's the problem, man, is that, and that's another reason why I got into the industry because I know that there's so many people out there that are doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So many people doing it wrong. And you find that people get, nervous about that stuff, man. Like this is your money. This is what you work hard for. You know what I mean?
Yup.
This isn't, just not everybody. Look, some people live paycheck to paycheck and still ain't got
Right.
it. Right.
And
So then you got people out there that are, taking advantage of people because they're in a position of power to be able to do that, man. That's not right, man.
right, right. And at all, you know, I just read, well, I heard this week, or I saw on a news station or something that a big investor of FTX who lost a lot of money was Tom Brady, man. Heard he I don't want to misquote how much he had invested, but I want to say it was like almost $1 billion, something. I don't know if it was him and his wife combined, but yeah,
Man, that's tough. And, I give the people benefit of the doubt. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened, man, but hoping that if that money was lost, that it wasn't because he's a culprit, you know what I
right,
mean? In
right.
it. I know it probably sounds like, oh, it's just because it's Tom Brady. I mean, you don't want to have anybody that's duped into losing money. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't care if you're rich, you're poor, nobody
Right,
likes to lose money. You know what I mean?
right,
And for
right.
somebody to say, oh, well, it's Tom Brady, he lost, let's say $250 million. That's still $250 million, man.
And it doesn't make all the other cats that lost money feel any better. You
No,
know
you
what
know what
I'm
I mean? It's
saying?
like, and while
Shit.
sometimes it's easy to say, like, oh, well, you know, yeah, I lost 50 grand. That 50 grand is important to you. $250 million is important to him. You know what I mean? Or however
Already.
much it was, So,
Yeah.
man, I'm
And
hoping that comes out that he's, those guys aren't,
yeah.
caught up in
But
that stuff. And if they are, I hope they come and get them. Go get them like everybody else. They ain't no different than anybody else.
yeah, and I don't know if
Above the law, right?
you heard. I don't think it was you. I think I was talking to somebody else, and they said that they had found $5 billion of his money.
Yeah, that's what we were talking the other day.
So that
They,
was you.
I guess, well, I said 5 billion, I think, in assets that they were so far
Yeah,
been
yeah,
able
yeah,
to recuperate.
yeah.
But man, that doesn't, ooh,
How
I
much
think
was
it's
he?
still short seven, or I think, excuse me, I think it's still short 2 or 3 billion that they're still
Okay,
trying to get back from investors.
okay. So it's like $7 or $8 billion. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's a hefty sum. You
Look,
know.
let me tell you this. A million seconds is like 11 and a half days.
Yeah. What was you telling me about that?
A billion seconds is like 32 years. That's the difference between a million and a billion. And you want to get even higher than that, you start talking about somebody that's a trillionaire. A trillion would take you 3 seconds, 31,688 years. So I go to show you the difference between $1 million and $1 billion. $1 million company and a
Yeah.
$1 billion company.
How
You know,
big and small they are. Yeah,
and like I
yeah.
said, just put it in terms of time. A million
Wow.
seconds, 11 days. A billion seconds, 32 years. That's
I never thought about that, man, but that does put it in perspective, bro.
yeah, man. It's crazy to think that.
Shit,
Like,
that's why.
oh, how much more money does he need? What's $1 billion compared to 100 million? It's a
So
lot. You know what I mean?
so I guess
Big
so my
difference,
so my five lottery tickets is not enough to win that $1 billion.
man.
I should have I should have bought 31,282 lottery tickets.
Had a chance.
I'd have
Still had a
had a
slim chance to do it, right?
then I'd
Man,
have had a 1% chance.
I explain that stuff to my kids all the time when we're talking, in my business class, my students, and I
Yeah,
tell them, guys, there's a big difference between a million and a billion. It's
yeah,
huge. I
yeah,
said, let me put it to you now in money terms. And I pulled up, Elon Musk's net worth was like 146.5 billion. It's down because of, Tesla
yeah,
and all that stuff. But
yeah.
I said, that man for the next 100 years could spend $4 million a day if he had all that, his net worth in cash.
Mhm.
$4 million a day for the next 36,500 days, which is 100 years.
Damn.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you start thinking in terms of like, oh my
Damn.
God, that
Yeah.
really is a lot of money, man. That billion, if
No.
it's worth $1 billion, man, that's a lot of money, man.
And I thought Jay-Z was rich.
Yeah, boys on the billionaire list. Yeah, I'm with you. No, them jokers are wealthy. And the
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
thing is, you look at rich, you look at wealthy, right? Low class, mid, the high class, whatever,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Middle
yeah.
class. And then you think that the different tiers when you talking about the billionaires, right? So ultra high
Right.
net worth, these are like ultra high net worth people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's nothing for them jokers to call and say, hey, I want to buy this yacht, and I need,
Yeah.
125 million, call whatever bank, find a
Yeah.
lender, and they make it happen for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, there's levels to that also, man. So
Yeah,
146
man.
billion versus the five, like Mark Cuban's worth like 4.8 billion. Not turning my nose up to that 4.8. When you start thinking about this man's got almost $100 billion more than what, you know what I mean? I guess net worth more. That's nuts.
And like 10 years ago he didn't. Like Tesla just came up in the last 2 or 3, 5 years, man. That's how and so when I was researching and studying Warren Buffett and I was studying him and how he became rich over time and when he first became a millionaire and then when he when he got 10 million,
Yep.
it seemed like uh I want to say he got he made his first billion when he was like 55.
Yeah,
And
he
then
made something like 95% of his wealth. He tells everybody like
yeah,
after the age of 55 or 65 or something like that.
and by the time he was 60, he was down there at 100 billion or wherever he was at. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like billion. It took him 30 years of work to get a billion. And
Yeah,
five
man.
and five
Yeah,
years
yeah,
to
yeah. Yep.
make that
Yep.
yeah. So that's
It says 99% of his net worth was earned after his 50th birthday.
I'm not 50 yet, so that really makes me feel decent, feel good, feel like
Let you know that there's a chance.
I feel like I have a chance.
I got a chance,
You
man.
know
That's
what
all you
I'm
need.
saying? Yeah, yeah. And somebody else that I've always uh because I got into this financial game later than a lot of people. So
Mhm.
somebody else I've always looked to as far as starting later and becoming what I may want to become, Sam Walton.
Ah,
Started Walmart
I
at
understand. Yeah,
55.
Walmart. Yeah.
Walmart was a mom and pop store till it became something when he was in his 70s, and obviously his children made it a lot of what it is right now. But I'm just saying those type of individuals, you know, they inspire guys that start on this stuff later in life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah, man.
Gosh
Anything
almighty.
else, man? Anything else in the financial sector happening that we need to talk about?
Man, I mean, that article that I was telling you that I read, man, it was a market sentiment, man, and I'll send you the link so you can put it on the put it down in the description, man. It's
Yeah.
pretty good, man. It had this index card where college professor kind of wrote on it, man, and just talked about 9 little things that people can do to invest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things that 9 rules that you can use, and they put it all in a 3x5 index card, and it was just simple things, man, that people don't realize they could do.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like save 20% of your money, try to pay your credit card balance off in full every month, right? Maximize
Simple.
tax advantage savings, right? So think about Roths and SCPs, 529 accounts for your kids. You know what I mean? If you want to put them in college,
Yeah.
maximizing your 401k or your employee contribution to whatever it is, and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Pretty
Very.
simple, man. It was a pretty good article. And like I said, it went on because they were talking about hedge funds. Again, I want to start a hedge fund, but completely different structure than what hedge funds are known for. They're
Right.
like a 2%, 20%, 2% management fee, and then 20% of the profits. We're not doing that. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm,
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's pretty
So,
good. I'll send you the link.
okay, yeah, do that, man. Since we're on that, so since you and I both have children, let's talk about college fund. Because
Yeah,
everybody talks about a college fund until it's time to start putting money into it.
yeah, man. Yeah. And it's tough, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times, like, man, where am I gonna get this money from?
Yeah,
And realistically, you start and you put away whatever you can, for your kids. Now, I personally do not have a 529 account for my kids. We started putting away for them, in college when they were born, and they've got savings accounts they don't know about, and take some of that money, and we've gone through and I've been invested in buying some dividend stocks and stuff like that,
Yeah, yeah,
and to help them. But the jokers better go to class and get them grades.
already. So
You know what
that's
I
my
mean?
thing. So
Yeah, let's go get that academic money first if we can.
right now, yeah, uh I have investing accounts set up for my kids, and they're safe. I have most of the money in safe stocks, and I have a few in some stocks that I'm hoping will do something. But uh I feel like I have a 7-year old, a 9-year old, and a 14-year old. So uh just putting money in a savings account right now, you know, I don't think it's using the money as wisely as I could, because they have a lot of years, right? Especially the two younger ones.
Yeah.
So I have them in investment accounts, but like you said, man, they've got they're understanding the value of education, how important it is. Uh, you know, I feel like ac academic scholarships are very competitive. Uh,
Oh, for sure.
you
Like,
know,
yeah, don't man, I'll tell anybody, man, you better do it in the classroom.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, think about somebody like DeMar Hamlin, man. I hate to use him as an example, but that man may never play football again.
right,
Now what?
yeah,
You know what I mean? So
hmm
you got to value that academics, man. Go to college and look. And I'm all for it. If you are an athlete, let them people pay for your education.
for sure.
Let them pay for education. They're going to use you to sell jerseys and sell tickets and to raise money and to make money for the school. You better use them and get that degree. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, they gonna use you, so you better use them. Is
Yeah.
what I've always told people, and it seems like most of our young adult are getting that fact, especially when they're making it a lot easier for them to go where they want, transfer, and make their own decisions based on that type of thing. You know, but uh, what else is there besides for your college fund? I mean, like when you have young children compared to a baby, compared to maybe somebody in high school, like can you say like what may be the best option in each one of those situations?
I mean, it all depends on what everybody has, as far as money and what their situations are. But the nice thing about 529 plans is
Okay.
that if let's just say I start one up for each one of my kids, right? And they both end up with enough academic money and they don't have to pay for it. Well, we can now roll that over and send that down and change the beneficiary on it and say, all right, well, we're going to save it for our grandkids now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now, drawbacks to a 529 also is that if you don't end up using it for college, you end up wanting taken out, there's a penalty. Uh, you know, so
So
you
so
gotta
real
watch
quick.
that stuff. But I mean, for
So
kids that are a certain age, man, it's depending on how much you can afford to do. I mean, there's plenty of college savings calculators out there you can do, and
so the 529, there is not a penalty to use it for college, but there is a penalty to use it for life. Is that what you're
so
saying?
if I decide, like, both of my kids, got their full ride, right? All their college paid for,
Uh-huh.
and you know, I don't
Or
want
they
to save it
decided,
for my grandkids. Well, we
yeah,
can find ways, while they're in school for some form of higher learning. I could change the beneficiary to me or my wife and say, hey, you know what? You've always wanted to get a master's, go get your master's, right? Because the money's there,
hmm
which is nice. But if you decide, like, hey, they didn't need it and we're not going to pass it on to anybody, well, we want to take our money back. Well, then, yeah, there's going to be a penalty when you go to pull it out.
Do you
But
know
as
the
far as,
penalty?
the different age groups, man, you can go through and look and say, how much would it cost me? Or if, I have a child, would you say you have one that's 9, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll just say, yearly, you put away 5 grand. If I say 4,800, was that like 400 bucks a month?
Yep.
Right. Well, that would, I mean, this is all hypothetical, right? So that, talking about current annual, like, college cost of being about 25,000 a year, give or take.
Yep.
Right. Figure about $164,000 was going to cost for college. All right. So for it to be 100% funded by you, then you're going to have to be able to get that account up to that
164.
amount, right?
Yeah.
So, and then depending on how much you have saved, and then are you going to be aggressive, moderately aggressive? All right. So, I mean, if they're younger, I would say be more aggressive early. But you'll, so in order to pay for those things, man, again, it's going to be expensive. You can do it if you have the money, where you can say, hey, you know what, monthly, we're going to go ahead and we're going to contribute $700 a month.
Yeah.
right? Because you can afford that, right? So
Hmm.
I mean, that would pay for one, two, three. You'd have a shortfall of about 16,000 based on average college costs.
Yeah.
Right. But it can't get it again. That's expensive, right? For a child that's 9 years old right now. So you talk about somebody who's, like your oldest who's 14, they're going to college here 2027, right?
Yep.
That same $700 a month for a 14-year-old gets you through like almost 2 years of college paid for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then that amount has to increase to, we'll say from $700 a month to $1,200 a month for a 14-year-old. Let's see, we go to $1,000 a month. Yeah, not even 1,000, not even enough. Yeah, it's gonna be about 1,200 bucks a month you would have to put away from now until it's time for them to go to college, and something that was aggressive to be able to get you know,
Yeah.
be able to cover the cost. All right.
Yeah. And
So
is that, are you talking put away in a 529 or
yeah, this
just
is just a 529. I'm just going based on 529 plan because they have,
okay.
different portfolios you can choose from. We want to be aggressive, less aggressive.
Oh,
You
okay.
can always change a lot of the assumptions, right? And say, you know what, well, I only, I'm only going to fund 75% of it because they're getting, we anticipate them
Hmm.
getting 25,
Yeah.
percent in scholarships, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So then you might have, you don't need that amount, right? Or, grandparents are going to pay, 25% of their college.
Yeah.
We only got to raise 75%. Well, now we don't have to put away as much. I mean, and
Right.
there's a bunch of assumptions you can do, a bunch of free calculators and stuff out there you can do. I'll
Yeah.
just say make sure you do your research. If you're going to start a 529 plan, not that
Cool.
I don't disagree with them. I think that it's a great tool. Matter of fact, my parents did something similar for us when we were in high school or when we were younger.
Okay.
In Florida, they had the Florida prepaid college program, and my parents, for myself and my two brothers, paid for 2 years of state college and 2 years of community college for us. Right, so
Wow.
2 years of community college, 2 years of state college, and they locked in prices back in the 80s,
Yeah.
right? And they got to lock in college prices then, and they paid it off, and so that by the time we went to college, like I said, got to do 2 years at the community college is the route I went, and then I did 2 years at FAU and graduated, but it was paid for. So
Yeah.
mere fact that these things are out there to help people, you know what I mean? Especially if you don't know how to plan for college, like, well, how much do I have to put away? Just saving it into a savings account is not going to generate enough interest for it
Right.
to, unless you're putting away, 25 grand a year.
Exactly.
Right. I don't have $25,000 a year to just put away into a college program, college savings account. So,
Right. Not
but
regular
anything you can
folks.
start with, man, you get a baby, right? Just born, a baby was born yesterday, get the social security number, and you start one up, and you say, the child's current age
Yeah.
is not even anything.
Okay.
It doesn't
Uh
even exist, right? Or it
right.
hasn't aged yet, right? So most people put away
Absolutely.
so much.
Right.
Yeah. So
And we're running out of time, but I wanted to get your quick take on how life insurance uh, helps out with that in the event of someone, one of the parents passing.
yeah, I mean, well, you're obviously going to have beneficiaries. I mean, your life insurance policy used to have beneficiaries, and then from there, sometimes people, if I'm not mistaken, could put into, set it up so that it's like, it needs to be used for certain things. But realistically, if you pass, there's a bunch of different rules and laws up there. But God
Okay.
forbid I were to pass, and obviously my wife is the first beneficiary, the money would go to her, right?
Yep.
And she can say, "Oh, I'm going to do whatever I need to. Right? I'm going to pay off the house, whatever. I'm going to put the rest away for the kids for college." You
Okay.
can do that. All right. So I have a friend of mine whose father passed away. Man, was hit by a drunk driver,
Oh
and
wow.
he's still collecting now premiums
Okay.
from a life insurance policy. Yeah, I mean, it was
Wow.
so many. It was broken up over so many. Like every 5 years, he got a lump sum. You know
Was
what I mean?
that
So he's got a
good?
kid now. So
It was when he was a kid that that happened.
yeah, yeah, he was a baby when it
Oh,
happened.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that helped, pay for things throughout his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, the mere fact that if I were to pass, it goes on to my wife. God forbid my wife and I pass together. Well, then it
Yeah.
goes to the kids, and
So that's what I wanted to get out there, that the importance of insurance in the event something might happen to you. It could help with college or just life after college, you know.
yeah, life after college. I mean,
Yeah.
helps it up. Like I said, I was always taught to make sure that you have at least enough health or life insurance so you can pay off the house. So God forbid I would have passed, at least my wife could pay off the house and she doesn't
Yeah.
have to worry about a mortgage anymore.
'Cause that's generally the
So
biggest
anything,
expense, right?
yeah, you know what I mean. So and anything more than that, it's I don't want to say icing on the cake because you're losing a loved one, but any more than that can help cover everything else. Like, hey, got enough of a life insurance policy where the house can be paid off, everything that
Yep.
we own right now can
Yep.
be paid, and you have no debt. Right, vehicles, any credit you might have, credit
Yep.
cards, all your debt paid,
Yep.
and at least one parent's still working, they can still generate income. They don't have to worry about all the extra expenses that they've had prior to being able to
Absolutely.
pay it off. So
Absolutely. Appreciate you, bro. That's good stuff, man. Uh, uh, you know, I'm next time your boy Jerome is on, man. You need to hit me up. Let me know so I can watch him. 'Cause I
So
haven't.
next time, yeah, so you listen to him, man. Look, anytime he's speaking and anytime he's coming up, I'm either listening to on CNBC or something. You know what I mean, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
watch it,
yeah,
but I do like to listen to it, man. So as
absolutely.
far as I know,
Yeah.
2023, January 31st will be the next FOMC meeting.
Okay, today's the 14th, so that's
About
2 weeks
a little over 2 weeks, yeah. And
on a
then you got
Tuesday, probably. Yeah.
March, and this is when they meet, right? So the meetings, right? 31st to the 1st, March 21st to the 22nd. So
Okay.
yeah, man, it's good to listen to and see what he's talking about. And,
For sure.
prices coming down, what's going to happen, you know?
Appreciate you, man.
All right, brother, take care. All listening, man. I appreciate you guys, all the support. You guys keep tuning in, man. Keep trying to pump this good information out to you
This is
guys free of
Market
charge.
Watch. I'm Erik T. Jackson. That's 81 Capital, Eddie Chinea. We out of here.
Take care.
All right, later,
All right,
brother.
brother.